So today I am starting a brand new series, a brand new show. It is the Patreon voted 2013 show Peaky Blinders, and I believe the show is still on the air, so obviously I have some catching up to do. All I really know about it is that Cillian Murphy is in it, and I think it's about gangs or something like that, but that's a very vague description. That's all I really know. So I'm very excited to finally watch the show. I've heard only good things about it, so I'm excited to finally get into it. And I believe it's a UK show as well, but I don't know the director, or I don't know any of the other cast members, anything like that. If you have any other suggestions for TV shows you think I should watch, please comment below. And if you're ever curious about what gear I use or what's on the bookshelf, I've included a link in the description. And if you want to have a say in what movies or TV shows I watch, be sure to join Patreon. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. They asked for her? Okay. Interesting. And it sounds like they are a type of people you don't say no to? Okay. I'm guessing this takes place in like the early 1900s, something like that. And everybody's very afraid of him. What is she whispering?
They're doing a magic spell to make her win a race.
Oh, okay. Now this horse will win the race. Okay.
Kempton, 3 o'clock, Monday. You ladies have a bet yourselves, but don't tell anyone else.
Okay, so he's helping out people who are living in poverty. Okay, 1919, Birmingham. Okay. It's like a Robin Hood type of situation, steal from the rich to feed the poor. Because yeah, obviously, well, we'll see if this fortune comes true, but from what he told these people that, hey, go bet on this horse because it's going to be a winner. So, okay, interesting. Sam Neill's in this? Really? What? Is this based on like true story or anything like that? Comment below and let me know, like a true character, or is it completely made out of fiction? Joe Cole, that name sounds familiar as well. And it's got like that typesetter font, kind of like the old printing press font for the title. Okay, cool. Oh my, secret room. Okay, here we go. Seems like a pretty big operation they got going.
I'm in a family council tonight at 8 o'clock.
Oh, they're related? Sam Neill, yay! Yeah, it's a family, I'm guessing, or at least those two are related somehow, okay. And it sounds like one of them was now in charge, and obviously the other one wasn't excited about that. Otto Shelby. Hey, that's the name of the movie. Bolshevik, oh, that's a dangerous word in some places. So I'm guessing Sam Neill's character is a police officer. It looks like he's got like rap sheets, 1900s versions of rap sheets on these guys. But yeah, it's very interesting the way they're kind of like setting up this landscape. Like obviously there's a lot of unrest and uneasy time. I don't think he's gonna like that one bit.
Soon to be king, I'd bet.
Oh, what was that?
No. These past few days I've been speculating.
There's razor blades in his hat?
I also stand a chance of winning.
I'm guessing he doesn't believe in what Freddy stands for.
You're alright. You're alright.
Clearly has some PTSD. Oh my gosh, this poor guy.
Maybe you'd have to put a bullet in my head someday too.
Oh, is this foreshadowing? Yeah, I'm curious about these two. Obviously have a history and it.
Ring the bell to the Peaky Blinders.
Hey, that's the name of the show. They obviously, some things happen and they're not buddies now. It sounds like they fought together in the war, and yeah, I love history, so I'm very curious how like historically accurate this is, like for this given time period, how true they stick to.
Recognize it.
Oh my. How true they stick to history and like
off your ass, you mum pig.
Oh my.
They picked up the wrong fucking crate.
Oh.
They must have taken it from the proofing bay instead of the export bay.
Yeah, that doesn't look like a motorcycle. Yeah, they stole weapons?
Sweet baby of Mary.
That's a giant gun.
You sell those guns to anyone who has use to them. You will have.
Yeah, probably.
You have your mother's common sense, but your father's devilment.
Oh, okay, it's not his mom. Yeah, superstition seemed to be playing like a heavy role. Like he's like, we're not going to move these under a full moon, and with that fortune teller and the horses. So I feel like that was accurate for the time. Yeah, it's interesting to see it play in more. So far, it's the two brothers and their sister, if I've got it correct.
You were in the mood for the pictures tonight, Ada?
Oh, I'm not doing it here again. I got covered in mud last time.
Hello.
Let's just walk a bit.
Yeah, I'm guessing obviously her brother doesn't know, or anybody in the family doesn't know that she's seeing Freddie. Okay. Oh. I'm assuming those are bins from tobacco. Gross. No, thank you. Or like spit or something in them. Ugh.
God help those who stand in our way.
Alright, well he's not messing around. Yeah, he's here to like whip them into shape, and knows they've been taking bribes from the Shelby family, and brought in some new recruits, and is like, they mean business. So I think that's going to be some trouble for our, Mr. Thomas Shelby here.
About the robbery. Oh, swear to God. Oh, I don't know what you saw.
Yeah, I genuinely feel like he's being... Yeah, I feel like... Oh! Thomas didn't tell him.
You're right. He said Mr. Churchill thinks it's Birmingham.
Oh, dang.
National interest, he said. Something about a robbery.
Mm-hmm. Do we feel like sharing?
I am just a young girl.
Yeah, so that police officer wants the Shelby family to work with him and turn people in that they know, because obviously the police officer knows they run with like a rough crowd, and they'd have access to people that he probably wouldn't know, especially being new to town.
One day me and Tommy will be on the same side again.
Yeah, does he actually care about her, or is he just being with her to like find out information about the family? Yeah, because he definitely seems very curious about what they're up to and what's happening at family meetings, and what did Thomas say, so very curious. Yeah, it definitely feels like presence, obviously, from the war is very real with everybody, and like, oh God, oh! Yeah, you can definitely feel like tension and like something is boiling just below the surface. So I feel like this show might be like a bit of a slow burn, but yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it so far. It's sad because I feel like this part was very accurate, that there would have been a lot of people suffering from PTSD and they didn't know how to treat it or process it, or it's just sad. Oh my gosh. No, bad idea. Yo. Oh my God. Oh no.
Dig holes and dig them deep.
Yeah, he's like, keep these secrets hidden. Yeah, and these are obviously very important if Winston Churchill himself is coming out to find them and to, or make sure they're found and nobody knows that they're missing in the first place. Yeah, so he was going to turn the guns in to be found, and then this would, you know, hopefully, you know, everything would be resolved and the police would back off a little bit. And now he's like, you know what, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to try and turn this into an opportunity and get some money for them, it sounds like. But yeah, it seems very interesting for him to go to the police and be like, I stole these from you and I know you want them back, so buy them from me. Yeah, I'm very curious. I'm very excited Sam Neill's in this.
I am, sir.
Oh, snap.
Questions?
She's working for the police.
Your father was the finest officer I ever worked with. I know he'd be very, very proud of you.
Yeah, and now it's like, okay, well, she was very adamant. It had to be that bar. You know, she had to have this job. And even when he tried to warn her, like, this is a pretty rough bar. Like, are you sure you want this job? And, suspicious. Who can you trust?
And the Italians. To save you from their barbarity.
I don't like where this is going.
I said I would dispatch you myself.
Oh, no. Oh, the split diopter shot. Oh, that's so cool. Gosh, this poor guy. I feel bad for him. I know he killed somebody and, like, just like you said, like he left his brains in the mud over there and just, oh.
And the third time we do it, you'll have the whole of Birmingham betting on it. 1,000 quid bet.
He wants more people to place bets, obviously, so they get more money. Yeah, if horse wins once, horse wins twice. Okay, third time, let's go all in, and that's when it'll lose. There seems to be quite a few like canals and waterways, like every time they have a conversation. What? He's alive? Whoa, trickery.
Tommy has a little job for you. Give you a chance to say thanks. The Peaky Blinders, Dennehy.
All right, well, yeah, well, I guess he owes him his life now, so he's part of the gang. Yeah, and he has to get out of town, obviously, because that Italians are after him.
I checked. Did you do the right thing?
Yes, I did the right thing.
The right thing to him, not the right thing for her. Yeah, he definitely seems to have, like, he bends the rules in certain situations, and if you're his friend, I feel like you're protected, and if you're not, then see you later. So that was my first time watching season 1, episode 1 of Peaky Blinders, and I really enjoyed it. I thought they did a good first episode, setting up the story, getting to know the characters. We got to see some little bits and pieces of each of the characters, and they mentioned a couple things that I'm curious if that will be foreshadowing for later episodes. Please no spoilers. I want to give you the honest reaction as best as I can, and I really like history, so I was interested to see how historically accurate this show is. 1919 Birmingham, and we definitely can see through the show that the feel of World War I ending is definitely very still prevalent. We saw Danny, one of the characters, is struggling with PTSD, and the boys who are back, you know, they're having some flashbacks. Even we saw Thomas in one of his dreams was having, it seemed, I'm assuming that was from the war. I'm curious to learn more about the dynamic between Freddie and Thomas. We learned that they fought together in the war, and now that they've come home, or maybe even while they were still away, their alliance has kind of shifted. They seem to be at odds with each other, and with Thomas being more focused on his gang and his family, and Freddie focused on his beliefs and communism, which is a very dangerous word for this time period. So dangerous that obviously they were being arrested and put in jail if you believed in communism, and they're calling them Bolsheviks and all these types of things. And he's seen giving speeches and trying to like rally the people together. We also find out that Freddie and Ada, who is Thomas's sister, Thomas and Arthur's sister, is in a relationship with Freddie, and nobody really knows about it because obviously I imagine Freddie isn't very popular with the Shelby family right now, so they're kind of keeping it secret. So I'm curious to see if they ever find out, what happens when they find out, what that's gonna look like. The first episode, we see Thomas Shelby is taking charge of this gang and is trying to do things his way, which his family may or may not agree on. I'm curious to see what's gonna happen with this robbery now that he ignored his aunt. I'm not sure if they said how they were connected, and he didn't just leave the guns to be found, and hopefully that quieted the police, as the police force has now become doubled, like their size. And this Sam Neill's character, Campbell, as police officer, has come to town and is like, we're done with this garbage, we're cleaning up, like time to clear house basically, which I feel like is obviously only going to spell trouble for the Shelby family, as they don't always do things legally, and how he planned on stealing those motorcycles motorcycles, ended up stealing a bunch of guns, and now Thomas is trying to use that as an opportunity to, I don't know who he's going to sell them to or what his plan is. I'm assuming that'll be further explored in the next episode. And yeah, I don't know if this is a show that's going to have a high body count. There was a few deaths in this first episode. We saw, well, Danny's fake death and then that shopkeeper who was stabbed. There definitely seems to be a lot of mistrust even within the family. Like, I feel like Thomas is keeping some things from his older brother, and then I think there was also a younger brother as well, yeah, they definitely, Thomas seems to just want to do things his way and is kind of like, you know, it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission kind of guy, so I feel like you're like, oh, I'm telling you now, like, so he might have some schemes that gets the family in trouble, and not something that they would all agree on, but I don't feel like he's really going to care about their opinions too much or ask their advice. He's just going to do what he thinks is best. Like I said, I'm very excited to see Sam Neill in this. I've seen him in a bunch of movies recently, so I'm very excited to see him in a show, and I thought he was playing the role well. I'm not sure if he actually is from the UK. Comment below and let me know. I've definitely seen him play like American roles, but I know Cillian Murphy is from the UK, and the rest of the cast, the accents seemed pretty good, so comment below, is this mostly a UK cast? I do recognize Joe Cole's name. I'm pretty sure he's from the UK as well, but yeah, I've really enjoyed it. You can tell the production value is very high, like it's good quality cinematography and the use of natural lighting, and just kind of, they seem like they're trying to be as realistic to the time period as possible. Comment below. I'm not an expert on 1919 Birmingham, so comment below, even with like their hats, like having the razor blades in their hats and stuff, was that something they actually did? It seems terrifying, but I'm curious what was embellished for the show and what was true to historically accurate times. It was interesting to see Churchill involved. I know they had mentioned his name, but I wasn't sure if he would actually be cast or just somebody that they mention and be like, oh, okay, well, we all know who that is, but it was nice to see an actual actor portrayal of Churchill. So I'm curious if he will be throughout the rest of the season. I know he had a long reign as Prime Minister, so I'm curious if he'll be throughout the rest of the season, or if this is just such a intense robbery that he's going to show up at the beginning and just to prove how valuable these guns are, and then maybe he'll be mentioned but we won't see him again for the rest of the season. I know it's also a shorter season, so I believe there's 6 episodes. From my experience watching UK shows and watching British shows, they typically keep it to a shorter season and make that season amazing, and just every episode is just incredible instead of dragging it out for like 32 episodes or something crazy that is just a bunch of filler content. They stick to the shorter episodes, which I think I like better, as much as I want more content. I know it's really easy to binge watch stuff nowadays, but I'd rather have a show where every episode is amazing, and instead of a crazy long season that goes on and on forever and you're like, where did we get lost here? Where are we doing with the plot? So I think there's 5 or 6 episodes of Peaky Blinders currently, but yeah, shorter seasons, so I'm curious to see how compact a storyline will be within the one season, or if they will have a crazy long plot and we won't find out answers to questions until, season 5 or 6 or whatever it is, or if each season will kind of be like an anthology. But either way, I'm really enjoying it so far. This family seems like there's a lot of layers and a lot of secrets, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's revealed. And we were also introduced to this bartender with a lovely singing voice, who shows up and is very adamant that she has to work at this very specific bar, and obviously she knows. We find out later that she's in fact working for the police officer, and her and Thomas seem to have something, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they hook up in a later episode. I think it's interesting that this police officer would plant this bartender there, as they seem to be working together, and she's going to try and gather whatever information she can and bring that back to him. But yeah, I feel like there might be some feelings that can get involved later, and how much she's willing to tell and how much she's willing to protect him. And right now she thinks the IRA has stolen the guns. Whether she knows it's the Shelby gang and is just trying to protect them or not, I don't know, or if she genuinely believes that. And we also find out that her dad was killed by the IRA. So yeah, it's very interesting. I feel like every character has a unique backstory, and I'm looking forward to exploring it more. And from what I can tell about Thomas Shelby so far, he seems to have his own twisted moral compass. Like I said, I think if you're friends with him, you're in and you're protected, and if you're on the outs, then I don't think he cares too much. In the beginning, we see him take this horse down to this factory, and he gets this fortune teller to make this horse a winner, basically. So then he tells everybody, hey, go bet on this horse. And at first I thought, oh, he's trying to help the people in this area so that they'll win. And then obviously we find out later that he's actually setting them up and setting up the whole town, basically, or the whole city, I guess I should say, to lose money, basically. So he's gonna get them to bet on this horse. The first time it'll win, second time it'll win, and then the third time it'll lose. I don't know how he's going to, if he's just not going to take it to the fortune teller to make it lose the third time. I originally thought it was like an act of kindness and that he was trying to help them, and then we find out he was just trying to trick them and to ultimately have them lose their money. As you know, if you see a horse win once, twice, the third time, okay, maybe you'll put some money on it, and then that'll be the time you lose. But he will gain personally, because if they collect the bets from that horse race, then they're going to be fine, while everybody else will have lost money. So yeah, at first I thought it was kind of like a selfless act, and he was trying to help these people. I'm curious to see if I mean, it's one example, it's one episode in, so I'm curious to see what happens later on through the series. But even killing Dennehy, I feel like maybe the best way to say it is he doesn't do something without expecting something in return. He's not going to do something for nothing. He, from what I can tell, even with the guns, he's like, well, these are valuable, like they showed their hand, they clearly want these back now, so why would I just send them down the river and, you know, solve all their problems for them when I could potentially gain something from the situation. So same with Danny, he's like, okay, well, I saved your life, but now you owe me, and now you're part of the gang, and now you have to do these things for me. So maybe that's the more accurate way to explain his character. I like the way they showed the city and kind of just like the social factors and the economic factors and the time period in history with World War I ending, and you know, everybody's still struggling and trying to get back on their feet. It feels like I said, like everything's just kind of bubbling under the surface right now, and something big is going to erupt, whether that's the workers' strikes and the gangs, and just it seems to be a lot. Nothing seems to be on stable ground. Everything seems to be kind of up in the air. Overall, I thought it was a great episode, really well done, great production value, acted well, an interesting story. I'm curious to see where it's gonna go. But yeah, please no spoilers. Yeah, and I love history, so I'm very excited to see what elements of history and how far, like, will they get to World War II eventually in the series, or what other historical events are going to happen throughout the run of the show? Because from the timeline of this one episode, a week maybe, yeah, and I'm curious to see, or if they take like huge time jumps in between the seasons or anything like that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and if you have any other suggestions for TV shows you think I should watch, please comment below. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. In 1900, now this horse will win the race. There's razor blades in his hat. Family doesn't know that she's seeing Freddie. Okay, these are obviously very important if Winston Churchill himself is. Now it's like, okay, well, she was very adamant it had to be that bar. There seems to be quite a few like canals and waterways. She's working for the police. Yeah, that doesn't look like a motorcycle.